Hello. So as promised, I am getting my video for you on essays, but then my apologies. It's getting, I'm premiering it too late into the night. I was just stuck, throughout the afternoon with a lot of other tasks. So anyways, let's begin without wasting time. So what I have done is I have chosen these topics from one of your English language papers, especially Icse Isc. I am going to discuss only 3 topics today, and tomorrow it will be 2 more. So while as I progress, I'll let you know why am I not discussing all the 5 topics in this video. All right, so let's begin. Just a second, I'm sharing the screen. Where is my this? I'll just do one thing. I'm going to put up this from the current slide. Yes, indeed. All right, so here we go. Okay, so essays now. Let's just inform you or let you be aware. When you study something, you should know everything about it, because I believe knowledge is power. If you have knowledge, you can never feel weak in yourself. Wherever in the world you go, you'll never feel, handicapped in any way, because knowledge gives you that edge over everybody else, right? So essay actually was started in somewhere in the 16th century, and Francis Bacon was the first essayist. He's the father of English essay, and the very first essay that he wrote was of studies. All right. So if you pick up English literature when you're in your graduation, you'll be studying that. Let's begin. So the first kind of topic that I'm going to study with you is story. So story writing does come in the paper, and story is very important. But remember, if you are picking up this topic to write, then you need to see if your imagination is good or not. All right, not everybody's imagination is actually par excellence, okay? When I say good imagination, this means you should be pragmatic, you should be creative, you can build up stories, you can concoct tales. So if you can do that, then pick up this. Otherwise, and it's not that if you cannot have a good imagination, it's a weakness. No, not at all. It's just, another talent. So if you do not have imagination, maybe you're good at sports, maybe you are good at something else. So when I say that this essay is meant for people who are imaginative, there are other 4 topics also left for you to pick up. So don't get discouraged. Anyways, let's begin with the story. So here, let's read the topic. Write an original story, short story, that begins with the words, "It was raining hard that night. In my hurry to get into the house, I didn't notice the black car parked across the road. I realized something was wrong when." Okay. Now, what are the important points in this story that your story has to revolve around? So keep in mind, when you're writing this topic, the story, there are certain things, in the lines that have been mentioned that your story should revolve around. If you miss out on one of those points, you're a disaster. You'll not get marks. All right, so let's see. It was raining hard. So what is the ambience of your story? What is the setting of your story? It is raining. It was night. All right. How was your attitude? What frame of mind were you in? Hurry. This means there was something very important, either or because of the rain, you wanted to get into the house, you were all drenched and you wanted to get warm. I didn't notice the black car parked across the road. So black car is the mystery. All right. So black car, something that you did not notice. So if you did not notice, and the examiner is writing this here, so this means there's something, got to do with that black car. So you cannot ignore the black car, because black and car symbolize mystery. So you need to, across the road. Across the road means, of course, if had it been there in front of you, of course you would have noticed. But something which is across the road and in a hurry, if you're rushing into your house, obviously you wouldn't notice. Clear? I realized something was wrong when? What was the time when you realized something was wrong? When you entered the house. So here begins the main, the main central theme of your story. Now, these are the points that you need to take care of, which you cannot ignore. The story should be original. Yes, you cannot copy the plot. For example, you can't think of, okay, let me pick this up from Harry Potter series, Philosopher's Stones. No, you can't do that. All right. It's a copyright issue. So you cannot pick up stories. You cannot pick up ideas. You can get clues, hints, that's okay, but you cannot, do that kind of stuff. Then you cannot even pick up characters. You cannot name your character Harry Potter. You'll be sued in the court. All right, so character, plot, story should be original. Of course, you can take ideas, you can pick up clues, you can mix and match, but you cannot, pick up the original plot and paste it in your story. Important clues, like I mentioned, rain, black car, hurry, and the time when. Rain is the environment, black car is the mystery, hurry is that, it symbolizes there's something important. And the turning point in your story is when. So your entire story should be within that frame of the rain, the dark night, the rain. You cannot, suddenly change, oh, it was sunny, and it is like very hot and I wanted to do it. No, please, you cannot change that. You need to continue with your story in that same ambience. Clear? Okay, let's go to the next one. Argumentative. Give me a minute. Okay, so argumentative, let's look at the topic here. It's a very simple topic. I picked it up from your English language paper, maybe 2017, 16, I exactly don't remember. School days are the happiest days of our lives. Express your views either for or against the statement. All right, so either for or against. Okay, let's begin. What are the elements that you need to focus on when you're writing either for or either against? In both the cases, your topics are going to revolve around these points. Your points are going to revolve around these topics, okay? So what are these topics? School days. Yes, school days, it doesn't mean I used to go to school at 7:15 and I used to come back at 3:30. No, not that, all right? School days means a time period from your nursery to your class 12. That is your school days. Okay, then your studies, friends, sports, teachers, building. Maybe when you entered the school, when you took admission, there was just one building and your school had no playground or maybe a small playground. But by the time you reached class 12, there were huge campus and you had more than one building, or you had, 2 more playgrounds. So, building, how did the building, made a difference in your life? There are favorite places in the building where you want to sit. Clear? So that's the that's the spot, your favorite spot in the building. Time. All right. Relationships, friends, enemies, competitors, teachers. Yeah, you have relationships with teachers. I mean, not in that sense, but like a student-teacher relationship. So some teachers you hate, some teachers hate you, vice versa. And then somebody you like, but that person doesn't like you. You fool the teachers. Yeah, you do. All right, so teenage problems, sweet moments, yes, infatuations. Especially when you're a teenager, you come to class 10, 11, 12, there are infatuations. So these are some points you need to write about. Now let's go to the main point, for or against. So if you're writing against, what are the points that you have to write? See, mostly when, what children do is when they write the essays, etc., they actually repeat points and they tell, what, I could not think of anything more, because you were not considering the element in the essay topic. You need to consider the elements. So remember, those 15 minutes that you get to read the paper, that is the point of time. You need to pick up these elements from the statement that is given. Okay, oh, I have to write about the school days. So what are the points I can write about school days? Think about it. So here it is. If you're writing against, what are the points you can pick up? Can be easily misled, gullible. Yes, when you're a teenager, when you're a child, when you're in school. in the primary, or you're small, you're gullible, you believe people very easily. So if your friend tells what, I've got a big bungalow, you do believe, and then you go home and tell your parents, you will know we live in a shack, my friend's got a big house. So that's what, gullible, you believe people. Drugs and other abusive substances, yes, when you're a teenager, under peer pressure, under when you get frustrated, you feel you cannot compete with other people, your tensions are your tensions, the point of your worries is actually useless, but then you do worry about it. When you grow up, you laugh over it. For example, you start getting frustrated. Oh my God, I don't have the charming personality that he has. Girls just stick to him like, bees to honey. And what about me? I'm intelligent. I come first in the class, but not even a single girl even winks at me. So, this is peer pressure. This is peer competition. This is peer envy, jealousy, etc. And so under the frustration of not only peer pressure, but also, maybe studies, maybe too many expectations from people, children do fall into drugs and other abusive substances. Then parents and peer pressure, of course, you experience the most of the stress when you are in your last days of your school, your teenager. I mean, when you are like 9, 10, 11, 4 years are like, quite drastic for you, because parents, teachers, peers, everybody is expecting things from you, right? So idealize celebrities. Yes, I used to idealize Batman. I mean, that's weird, but we do idealize celebrities. We fall in love with celebrities. You stick their posters. So too much of engripped in celebrities is also a negative point. When you look at them, you feel as if they are, they have an infallible decree. They cannot do anything wrong. They're just perfect. So that is our misconception. And many teenagers, they try to imitate them, and they get into wrong kind of, stuff. So therefore, idealizing celebrities, rebellion, yes, because in teenager, you are actually at a stage where you do not know what to do with yourself. You do not consider yourself a child anymore, nor do your parents consider you that, nor do your teachers. Your teachers keep telling you, oh, you've grown up. You're no longer a baby, okay? And then you're not even considered a full adult, because there are circumstances when the same people who tell you, oh, you're not a child anymore, they come and tell you, oh, behave yourself, you're an adult, right? Irony. Okay, so ironical, but then, so these are the pressures of the school days. So maybe for some children, school days might not be a very happy phase of their lives. They might be bullied by their peers. They might be scolded all the time. Sometimes our experiences of our school days are spoiled by some teachers, some very negative teachers come into our life, and they speak all, they keep on scolding us. They talk rudely to us. They are partial. You might be doing your best, but you don't get what you are actually fit for. So your school days might, for some children, school days might not be the most pleasurable part of their life. All right. So physical and mental hormonal changes. Yes. Physical and mental hormonal changes, like boys, their voice starts changing. Some of them might start squealing. All right. And the girls, even they go through physical changes. So, a thin and lean girl might just become an obese suddenly. So these are the kind of things. So that creates your mental frustration. You don't feel good about your body. You don't feel good about yourself. Okay. And of course, irritation, irritability, these are hormonal changes, chemical changes that change your attitude and your behavior. So these are the several points that you need to consider when you're writing your arguments. And yes, I forgot, before I tell you, go further. When you begin your argumentative essay, your introduction has to be really nice. You cannot just begin, if you're writing for or you're writing against, you just cannot begin bang on that, no, I don't agree, or yes, I agree. You cannot begin like this. Your introduction has to be very sweet and appealing. You need to write, bless me God. So you need to write, for example, that school days are the most, precious days of one's life, or school days are something which are inevitable part of the memory, and they actually make an impact over our life. The friendships made during those days are everlasting or are cherished, you know, and you always cherish every moment. The first time you might have received an award, the first time you you won a match or something. So then, you know, from your introduction, you need to take out the thread of whether you want to write against or you want to write for. Then you write, sorry, 1 minute. Then you write that, you know, for some people, you know, this might be the most disgusting phase of their life, because if they do not find good teachers, and then you begin your for, or, you know, your against. And if you're writing for, then you can write, you know, when you are ending your introduction need not be very long, sorry. It has to be not more than 5 to 10 lines, please. I'm not saying that you need to write an entire paragraph as an introduction, no, please. And when you're writing your argumentative essay, you need to divide your paragraphs. Each point need to have a separate paragraph. That is the time when the examiner can count the points and give you the marks, all right? So be careful with that. Let's go to descriptive essay. Yes, indeed. Now, look at the topic here. There has been heavy rain in your city, town. You went to school but found that it was closed because of the rain. Describe the sights and sounds near the school and narrate how you finally reached home and spent the rest of the day. So in descriptive essay, again, you're not, you know, the examiner is not asking you to write for or against. You're not giving your opinions in a very, you know, strict form. You're just describing something, you know, you're describing, you're not judging, you're not giving your any kind of viewpoint or anything. You're just describing what's your experience. Neither you are imagining anything like in the story. You don't have to create a story. You don't have to create things, but then here you are just describing a normal scene, you know? So there has been heavy rain. So what are the elements that you need to take care of when you're writing a descriptive essay? Let's pick up this very same topic. Heavy rain. Describe your city or town as it is written. Heavy rain in your city and town. School campus. Yes, when you reach your school, the front gate of your school is waterlogged and it's like muddy. There is a puddle. You bump into your cycle into that puddle. All right. And then like your school suddenly seems very beautiful to you. Yeah, it does. You know, when it's closed, the school buildings look beautiful, but when they're open, they don't. Okay, so sights. What you saw, as it says, describe the sights and sounds near their school and narrate how you finally reached home. The sights, what you saw: mud, puddle, children screaming and running in the rain, people taking cover under the trees, vehicles getting stuck. So this is what a normal situation is, all right? So these are the points. If you write on every point separately, believe me, you will get, for example, if it's a 20 marks essay, you will definitely get 18 or 19, trust me. But then you have to write the way I'm telling you. So sights, what you saw: mud, puddle, cars getting stuck, you know, you're riding your cycle and suddenly the car comes and splashes over you. You know, children squealing with laughter because the school is closed. So you can see children, small, big, every kind of children, you know, in their raincoats or maybe without raincoats, they're running in, you know, in the rain happily because the school is closed, right? And of course, many people standing under the trees, taking cover from the rain. Now, what is an element of the descriptive essay? What is the descriptive essay aiming at? Description means when you're describing anything with all your senses. And what are your senses? Sight, smell, taste, touch, feeling, right? For example, if I ask you, describe your dinner, family dinner that you had last night, you know, when you went to that special restaurant. So you'll tell me, well, you know, the atmosphere, the ambience of the restaurant was so warm. You know, they did not have flashy lights. It was like warm yellow light. It was, and they did not have those common table and chairs, but they had actually spread out on the floor mats and cushions and big pots of flowers. And waiters were dressed in ethnic clothes, and ma'am, there were chandeliers, and ma'am, there was a small entrance. So you will give me the atmosphere. This is your site. And ma'am, you know, I could see people in colorful clothes sitting around me. And I saw people on a, you know, on a corner of a room. There was a huge group. Maybe they were celebrating somebody's birthday. So this is what you see. Sense of sight. Sense of smell. I could smell food from all around. You know, every table had some variety of foods. From somewhere I could smell sizzlers. Somewhere I could smell something like, you know, smoky. You know, when you eat sizzlers, there's a smell of, you know, the smoke and of course the sizzlers itself. Then, you know, smell of some curry, spicy curry. Then taste, of course. I mean, taste your own food that you tasted, right? And then touch the food that you touch, maybe the chapati or maybe anything that, you know, ma'am, it was like butter naan, it was butter, it was sticking on my, you know, my fingers, and, you know, the caramel just entered my mouth and it melted in my you know, mouth, and it was like heaven. So that's your sense of touch, and that's your sense of feeling, how you felt. Okay, and you were really happy when you came back. This was the best family time you ever had, and it was something that you're going to be memorable. Right, now let's coming back to the same topic. You can tell me, ma'am, how do I use my senses in this topic, right? Where is the sense of smell? Where is the sense of touch? Where is this? Hold on, all right? So you do have the sense of touch, your sight and sound. It's already done, what you saw on the streets, what you saw the people doing, children doing. And of course, then sense of sound. You could hear children squealing, people shouting, you know, because there was a traffic jam because of the water logging, and people honking and shouting. So that's the sound, all right? And sense of smell, yes, of course. You could smell the earth. It was the first rain, the first drop of rain. So you could smell after, you know, bad summers, it was rain, which was much waited for. So this rain actually, the smell of freshness and everything. And then touch, of course, when you touch your hair, it was like all disheveled, wet. And then suddenly a car passes by, and that car splashes mud from the puddle over your face. So that taste gets into your mouth, and you're like, yuck, what's there? So sense of, you know, taste, that dirty water that went inside you. You didn't gulp it, but then you tasted it. All right. So, and I mean, you can taste good things also. For example, you wanted to eat pani puri in that rain, and somehow pani puris taste very nice, especially when you are drenched and you're wet and you want to taste it. So, you know, or a warm cup of tea, hot cup of tea, not warm, but squelching hot cup of tea and steaming hot, and that actually tasted like wonderful, you know, the pakoris and the tea that your mother had made at home in this rainy season. That flavor of pakori was actually out of the world. So, you know, this is how you use your senses in the descriptive essay, and you need to cover all these senses, then you will get marks. All right, so I end here, but in my next video, I'm going to talk about picture composition and narrative. These two are very similar to each other, so I'll take up that. Sorry again for delaying this video. Anyhow, take care. Tomorrow is a weekend. Enjoy your life. Have a happy weekend. Bye.